So I want to shoot into a video today about why in your life you should do things that cost you money and make you less rich, but are totally worth it. And the basic idea of why you do this is because in many different cases, if you had all the money in the world, there's something that you'd be doing anyway with your time. And so what you do is you're cutting out the middleman and going right to the thing that it is that you'd want to do. Likewise, what I want to talk about is how even though you might not make as much money as you could have doing that, you can still monetize it to a decent extent and fund it. And as a result, you live an amazing life. Okay, so let me put it to you simply like this. Some people create what you'd call a profit business. And that profit business, the idea of it is that you do something that maybe you're not that passionate about and you crank money, you make as much money as you can. And maybe you're somebody who values stability. Maybe you're somebody who values being able to help others with the money that you have. Maybe you're somebody who values maybe working very hard for half the day. Maybe it's something you're not super into, but then later in the day you have your own time and you maximize your profit. Maybe you value retiring early. So that's something that I think is a very good option. I think in personal growth, that gets downplayed a lot. Like it's always all about follow your passion, follow your passion, follow your passion. I don't think that that should necessarily always be the case. It's a shame that the whole follow your passion advice dominates so much in personal growth. I don't think that's fair. I think there's a massive legitimacy to not following your passion, going for the cash. There's great reasons to do it, and there's ways that you could do that effectively where you wind up having even more fun and doing even more things that you're passionate about just because you followed the money. So that is one option, okay? And if that is you, I suggest you optimize it, but I'll tell you the truth. I'm more of a guy who's good at teaching you how to follow your passion, okay? I'm good at making less cash, but following your passion. That's just kind of the way that I've evolved in life, so I'll teach you how to do that. I'll talk to you a little bit about why. Okay, so in my case, what I did was I found my greatest hobby in the world, which was building social skills. I happened to do that because I grew up lightly autistic, and I realized that unless I dedicated pretty much my whole life to it, my life was going to be a total mess. I could just see it. It was obvious. So I'm like, I've got to find some way that I can just do this all the time. Like, ideally, like 10 hours a day, just work on this. And then if I do, my life will change. I'm not going to be dealing with light-level autism anymore. And as a result, everything's just going to be better. I understood that. I also did it, frankly, because I was so traumatized and scarred by what I went through that it was like haunting my mind and making me deeply upset. Just seeing other people dealing with that and me having come out of it to a large extent, I'd say, it bothered me seeing other people stuck in that mode, and it haunted me. And so there's an old expression, they say, make your mess your message. And I viewed it like a superpower, that it bothered me so much that I didn't understand social skills and confidence and trauma, areas that I'd struggle with. It bothered me that I didn't understand that, to the point that it was actually part of my healing journey from the trauma that I went through with it, to basically get the ideas out there. Because then I can sort of say to myself, you know what? This was really painful, but look what it resulted in. I'm really proud of that. So that was kind of the other part for me. So basically what I did was I combined a play of healing my old wounds around it, using the fact that I knew that I just had to do this 24 hours a day and that it would benefit me. And then I also understood that I could combine that with traveling the world, being always in different cities, being in the best clubs, and I get other perks from it. Meeting celebrities that actually watch the content, meeting top entrepreneurs that watch the content, having everybody, you know, randomly on the street, or not everybody, but a lot of people randomly on the street coming out to me, give me daps, give me props, helping me out. You know, so there's a lot of lifestyle advantages to it where I'm doing something that I'd want to do anyway. Like, even if I made $1 gazillion, I would just be doing what I'm doing now. There'd be almost no difference at all, maybe none. I can honestly say that. So whether you want to build a lifestyle company or a for-profit company, you've got to basically make a decision on why it is that you're doing what you're doing. But what I would say is that, first of all, don't discount the power of a for-profit company doing something you don't like, but also don't discount the fact that a lifestyle company, I think a lot of people, they can honestly overvalue the metric of money and not value the metric of time and doing what it is that you want to do. And the fact that so much of your life is spent working, that if you can align that in some capacity, that is a really good move. So you've got to decide. Now, I'm going to expand that into why it is that I do free events all over the world, right? Or why it is that I even help to build an entire instructor team at various different points in my career. So a lot of people, they'll see me doing free events all over the country. And it's funny because so many people are in that kind of money as the top metric way of thinking, and as their only way of thinking. They're not able to expand beyond that. That they're like, oh, I know why you do that. Because you're like killing it with the sales there, right? You're like killing it with the sales. Yeah, that's why you do it. Yeah, you know. Yeah, I got you, you know. And I'm like, no, you don't know me. You're in a completely different paradigm than me. You're not on my level at all. You don't even understand how to enjoy life. You're probably in a very contracted reality that is very small and petty. And as a result, the only thing that gets through to you is cash. The same way that for a heroin junkie, they could have the beauty of the universe in front of them. They could be sitting here, right here in Big Sur, looking at the most beautiful thing, and all they'd want is just to shoot up some heroin in their arm. Okay, somebody on heroin who can't enjoy anything but heroin, even sitting here in Big Sur, can't enjoy the view. If you can enjoy the view, they're not on your level. Well, the same way, if all that someone can enjoy is money, and they can't enjoy true friendship, art, creativity, expansion, helping people, if they can't enjoy that, then they're not on the highest level. And there's even levels even past that. That's not a good, they're not like, yeah, I'm like the real person who really gets it. You don't. You're just like liking like that fun stuff. That's just dumb. No, the point of money is also to be able to do what you enjoy. So somebody saying that is not even on the level that they even understand what they're talking about. They're actually, sadly, the poorest person in the world, even if they're billionaires. Very, very sad. And I have clients that I work with like that. Saddest thing that you've ever seen. So why do I do free events? You know, I'm headed out to New York to do a free event this week. I'll be in Philadelphia. I've got Seattle coming up, San Francisco, Chicago, Dallas, Houston, Austin, Texas, Boston, Washington, D.C., San Diego, Los Angeles. I'm going to do a big tour of Florida, Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, Orlando, Miami, Honolulu, and I'll probably just do a lot of those cities on loop and even bring in other ones. And I got a lot of my team doing them all over Europe and all over the world. So actually, if you're seeing this, click the link below and you can meet me coming up. Even if you're seeing this later, come and check out if I'm doing a free tour in your city. We call them the free tour. I do free events, okay? And they're basically something that provides you a whole entire system that you leave with to completely change your health, wealth, relationship, and higher purpose. But in addition to that, get you off all these different crutches, get you out of the stupidity, and massively expand your life while getting a ton of energy, while meeting a networking group, and probably being the single best night of your entire month. So click the link below if you want to come and see it, and come and join me at one of these free events I'm going to talk about now. So why is it that I do it? I do it for it's pretty much a combination of the following. From a business standpoint, it's really more of a branding play and a skill set play. Okay, I'll explain that in a minute. But from a lifestyle angle, it's also more of a passion play. It's something that I get a lot of value out of. So again, you know, for the person who's like, ha, I know why you do it. Yeah, I'll explain to you how the sales work. If I do sales at a free event, I might do a 7-hour free event. I might do 5 minutes of sales or something like that. If I want to go longer, I will. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm happy to admit that I do if I ever do. Maybe someday I will, and I'd be proud of myself for doing it. But on average, I probably do 5-10 minutes of sales in a 5 to 7 hour event. Hey, we have this other thing. It's the end of the event. Hit me up at the back if you want. That's pretty much what I do. I don't do some big sales presentation, and I'm definitely not doing what some self-help teachers do where they're just like, you know what today's whole entire lesson is? Why you need a mentor, right? That's true. That is a real lesson, but they just do the whole lesson to try to make sales. I go into very, very abstract topics. I go into topics about why you're good enough as you are and might not even need me. I go into all sorts of things like that. Why? Because the passion play. So my long-term play, what I do get out of it is a branding play. So the fact that, you know, say you as a viewer, you've seen me talking to 1,000-person crowds, or, you know, sometimes my crowd, it could be, sometimes I do videos from a private event with small number of people or medium-sized event, but sometimes I do up to 1,000 people and I post that. When you see me doing that, yes, there is an authority play there. That does get up my rates. I do have a lot of very, very wealthy clients that give me really great rates. I'm very appreciative of that. So it definitely gets up my rate. So I would say that there's a branding play to be had there. And I'd also say that it definitely builds your skills as a public speaker. So me doing free events, that does allow me to go in there and work on my public speaking. One thing I do at free events is I'll do one segment that's structured. I never post that. That's why you don't see it. That's a very, very structured and prepared segment. That's a specific process that I take you through to get you a very, very big benefit. Okay, that's why I do that. It's really amazing. But then the other segments, what I do is I go riff, I go improv, and I challenge myself to go pure improv, pure riff, and I basically never do the same seminar twice. On occasion, I'll touch the same points, but I try to avoid doing the same seminar twice. And what I do is I try to run the seminar. I mean, look, one of these days I might run a quick one. I reserve the right to do that. I'm not trying to paint myself in a corner, but my average free event's like 7 hours. I've done free events that are 4 full days, and some of them are like 16, 18, even 20 hours in a day. Everybody's falling asleep. It's crazy. A lot of people aren't even there by the end of it. So when I'm doing that, in the same way that I'm out here, you know, doing a video in the wind, you know, kind of cranking this out in the wind right now and practicing doing videos in a challenging environment. There's kind of people staring at me. It's a bit awkward. It's windy. There's a drone flying around, all that kind of stuff. Why do I do that out here? And I'm doing this, by the way, on in a massive work grind. I'm on 3 hours sleep, 4 hours sleep, and 6 hours sleep. So I'm underslept on the side of a cliff, wind going around, drone going around. I have a drone like that. It's a baller one. And so I'm doing that off the cuff. Why do I do that? This is like a day in the gym for me. Why do you go to the gym? Because you're passionate about fitness. Why do I do a lot of public speaking and improvisational speaking? Because I'm passionate about improvised speaking. I'm passionate about having a general idea in my mind, going in and fleshing that out into, like, you know, a 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour video, or breaking it apart, releasing it separate, but it could be a 3 hour seminar on that, and then releasing it online. That's a passion that I have. And the long-term play there, again, like I said, one of the long-term plays is branding. I do get a branding benefit from it, but the other is that I get public speaking benefits from it. I realized that by me just simply doing free events, I was in striking distance of becoming one of the great all-time speakers and being in the discussion for best all-time speaker by the time that I am dead when I keep doing it. Why? If you smash it out in the gym for 50 years, you're going to get fit. If you go do free events, what's good about a free event for me? What's my selfish payoff? Yes, I do a big chunk of that as a structured event to make sure everybody gets all the foundations and leaves the big benefit. But then when I do the other part, I can focus on energy. Funny enough, the structured part is a major favorite for people. But guess what? People also like the unstructured stuff because there's a transfer of energy, a transfer of presence, and you're watching somebody speak free associatively, which is a great metaphor for what we do in bars and clubs and social environments and parties. Speaking free associatively, speaking randomly and making things up and being quick to kind of turn things over on social media. So as a result of that, that becomes this really big metaphor. They also watch me use my voice. I often don't use a mic connected to speakers there. I use a connected camera, but not speakers. And as a result of that, they see this big booming voice. They see me free associating. They see me riffing like I'm doing here a bit in this video. And they're like, wow, that's kind of impressive. I see how I could do that in social gatherings. It becomes a metaphor, but it's also sort of like an unintentional and undeliberate light level hypnosis where people get a very present vibe out of it. They get a very kind of cause and the effect vibe out of it. They get a sort of self-starting vibe and motivational vibe out of it. And I'm really, really good at creating that kind of sober psychedelic experience where it feels like your mind's really been stretched. I've actually never done a drug or psychedelic in my life. The craziest thing I've done is green tea. I barely even drink black tea. But a lot of people will say, oh, you must have done psychedelics. I don't, but it's just because I'm very, very good at stretching the imagination. So it's like the free event riff part is like its own art form. It has its own magic. The structured parts or the structured events that I do in paid programs have their own magic. They're just different. You know, I charge usually for the structured stuff. I kind of give away the free associative stuff. But the point being is that my benefit is a branding play, but it's also a skill set play and a public speaking play. But then ultimately it's a passion play. That's really what I get out of it is passion. That's what I love is the passionate part of it. And I can tell you, there's no amount of things that you could, there's probably nothing you could buy in the world than walking into a room of hundreds or even 1,000 people. They're crying at your feet saying how much you would change your life, crowd surfing you around the room, cheering for you after all the crap you went through. You've been lonely growing up, cheering for you, and then you just getting in front of a crowd and smashing it. And that is why, you know, there's something said about the late, great Kobe Bryant. They said he never cheated the game. And Kobe's actually my hero. And I used to go to every Lakers game that I could. And the reason that Kobe was my hero was he brought it every night. It doesn't matter if he's injured. He would kind of bail through concussion protocols. He'd have a broken nose and wear a mask. It was crazy. And this guy was so tough. He'd pop his finger out, go have his trainer pop it right back in, keep playing. He never cheated the game. And so when I'm in there, that's my version of getting paid. You have to understand, if you're curious why, like, again, you may like my speaking, you may not, but you got to admit, I try my best to bring it. Whatever you think of the end result, that's your choice. That's subjective. But objectively, I am really going in there gunning and bringing it every time. I'm pushing the boundary. I'm trying new things. The reason I look like that is because in my mind, I'm like, most of my friends that make hundreds of millions of dollars or are billionaires, these guys, I'm hanging out with them and they're saying, Owen, why are you working this weird passion business? Like, why are you doing a counterculture, controversial passion business that gets you so much blowback, so much BS thrown at you, and then just running around being some weird coach and then not having a billion-dollar company with your work ethic and how hardcore you are. Just the fact that like many of my clients, I coach them from a point where maybe they're making $300 million a year and I got them over $1 billion a year in revenue. Or they're at over a couple billion and I got them even higher than that through coaching them. So they're saying, why don't you do what I do? And I'm like, bro, I got to tell you something. Like from where I stand, again, this is subjective, but from my own subjective perspective where I stand, you're not on my level. Like, look, I'm sorry to tell you, like, you're part of the establishment. You went and got a bunch of venture capital money. That's good for you. I'm proud of you. It's not easy to do. You're 1,000,000 times ahead of the average person. I'm proud of you for what you did. I think it's amazing. It's 10 out of 10. But you should try being in my shoes, in my brain for 5 minutes. Money can't buy that. And that's the bottom line. There's certain things that money can't buy. That's why Jesus is a major hero of mine, maybe the greatest. Why is that? Because for him, there was something that money can't buy. He went on the cross because money can't buy that. He bypassed that need, right? That need. And by the way, when I say greatest hero, what I mean is like, you know, from a practical day-to-day application, but then of course, you know, as my ultimate role model, that's my ultimate role model, right? So you see what I'm getting at here, right? It's one of those things where you realize there's something more important than just the basic level cash. You realize that you can build a business or a lifestyle that basically it helps you to expand spiritually, psychologically, and skill set wise and competency wise, allows you to connect to other people and add value, connects you to the energy of creation so that that energy of creation moves through you. When the energy of creation is moving through you and is an outflow, in my personal anecdotal experience, not as a doctor or as a double-blind study, but my experience and of all my friends, it actually cures depression. It cures a lot of this neurosis. It cures a lot of the noise in your head. It cures a lot of the kind of Gollum from Lord of the Rings, my precious mentality. It gives you access to layers of reality that money just can't buy. There's things that I have felt in my vitality that, I mean, I just don't really know anybody that has the kind of vitality that I do. And I mean, I would attribute that partly, my friend Shane's here, actually, you can point the camera at him. He actually does, he actually takes me out into the forest and we go pick herbs together, you know, and be careful with that. If you pick the wrong ones, they'll kill you if it's like mushrooms. But, you know, we'll pick chaga and reishi. And so I actually go pick it fresh, but I also purchase it. He has a company called Black Magic Alchemy where you actually can get reishi, some of it that we even pick. So, you know, part of it is herbs, I'd say, is a big factor. Sauna, cold plunge, sleeping in a pitch black room. I definitely eat way too many calories and stress myself and miss sleep, but I eat a lot of high nutrient density foods. That's what I do well. I've been sticking over a decade. So point being is like, I attribute it to that, but largely the vitality, in my view, comes from being aligned to the energy of creation, asking yourself, who is God? And we can't know that from here, but just trying to imagine and saying, well, how do I align like that? How do I use that as my ultimate role model and saying that? And that's what a really creative business can provide to you. Now, look, like I said at the beginning of this video, there's also ways of doing that with profit. You can, with profit, you can go and, I mean, look at Elon Musk attempting to restore free speech in the First Amendment by having the money to do so. So I can't, you know, while I sit here going, you know, on a platform that despises the First Amendment, and being on that platform saying, you know, it's bad that they don't care about the First Amendment, guys. Yeah, that's my opinion. Yeah, it's like, cool story, bro. Elon Musk went and bought the platform and restored it. We'll see as of recording this, we'll see if the purchase goes through. May or may not, right? We'll see how this ages. But you see my point, right? So there is something that just having the cash, although to be fair, his business is a good example of a passion business too. Solar and electric cars, I mean, amazing. Space, but you see my point, right? So there's definitely something to be said for just having so much money that you could just change the world. That's powerful. But there, you know, so amazing. If you can become that billionaire, do it. And I'm here to teach you a lot of different things about personal discipline, where to find energy, how to think expansively. I have a lot of different ideas about social media and all sorts of things about work ethic, truth about success I like to teach. And I'll share that with you. And I'll share you all the things that I share with my billionaire clients. And I'll put that in these videos too. So I like sharing that as well, just how to monetize things. I'm really, really good at monetization. I mean, I figured out a lot of ways to monetize things. But what I also want to share is that a lot of time, if that's all that you're thinking about, you're not even on the highest level, because there's levels beyond just cash. Once you have met the need of cash, there's levels beyond that, right? Just like, say that you got jacked to like a good point where you're just really, really jacked in the gym, and then your choice is just like live in one city and just pound like a gazillion grams of protein and steroids to get mega jacked. Or you could actually just go travel the whole entire world and have all these other amazing experiences. At a certain point, you're over-optimizing for one metric. You're over-optimizing for it. So you're missing all these other metrics, right? To be fair, I've kind of done that with some of my life. You know, I've over-optimized for travel, public speaking, and spiritual growth. I've over-optimized for learning how to run a non-conventional kind of outside the establishment business, but then I didn't optimize for things like saying lean in recent years. I actually used to do that, was good at it, so I know how to do it. So, you know, we're all struggling with that. We all have our own kind of little struggles. You get my point? But I'm just trying to get you to think more broadly here. One thing I would leave you with, here at the Bixby Bridge in Big Sur, and I hope that you're enjoying it. This actually, I'll just move over here. This is actually one of the most famous bridges in California. Just a beautiful place that I've wanted to come shoot a video for a while. What I'd say to you is, please, please, please just build something. You know, so, and my suggestion would be this. Either be a minimalist and just do the van life thing and just come and kick it out here like permanently. I have friends that do that. Or build something like a really, really successful profit empire, and I'll help you to do that. Or build a very, very powerful passion and lifestyle business that also does profit. You know, again, I'm saying we don't do a ton of profit. We still do make 8 figures a year. So it's, I mean, very, very few businesses even get to the point of 8 figures a year. So, I mean, we do that. So, what, you know, but just to me, 8 figures a year, that's low relative to a lot of the people who I coach. So understand that whatever is the case, you know, whether it's mega money, passion lifestyle, or a minimalist, pick something deliberate, pick something conscious, and explore the pros and cons of each lifestyle. And then from there, as you're exploring the pros and cons of each lifestyle, pick something consciously. But here's what you don't do. Don't just go be middle class, sitting in some crappy city in the suburbs or a place that you don't like to live, being a battery in the matrix, and kind of just looking at the internet, looking through a screen and eating processed foods to fill your day, doing like one vacation to baseball game per year. Just don't do that. That would be what I leave you with, okay? You get the idea? If you want to learn more, speaking passion business, you want to come see me do my passion, come and see me. Coming up, Philadelphia, New York City, Seattle, San Francisco, Chicago, Dallas, Houston, Austin, Boston, Washington, D.C., San Diego, Los Angeles, all Florida, Jacksonville, Tampa, Orlando, Miami, Honolulu. I've got events with my team all over the world, all over Europe, all over the world. We're going everywhere. Go see my team. They're amazing. They're just like me. Go see them. You'll be so happy. You'll network with other people. You'll meet other people that are passionate, and you'll meet other people that can help you to build whichever of these lifestyles it is that you want to build. And it's going to be just awesome. I'm super duper excited for you. Super duper excited to meet you and super duper excited to get you moving. By the way, we've even just added a brand new fundamental foundations course that you get when you actually jump into the free events too. So I can actually get you learning on how to build a business that you love and find your purpose and find all the motivation. I actually cover that right in the free course that you get when you jump into the free event. So click this link below and enjoy. And I'm looking forward to meeting you in person. Looking forward to seeing you check out that course. By the way, if you can't come to one of the free events, if you just sign up for the course and do a quick phone call with us, we actually get you the course as well. So whatever works, okay? Whatever works for you, we'll get you over that course. Just go through the form. We'll get it to you either way, okay? Enjoy it. We're going to take you much, much further. In the meantime, pick one of those free lifestyles. Know the pros and cons of those free lifestyles. We talked about it here. Realize there's much greater pleasure than just money, but money has power too. And I'll talk to you soon. Peace.